This is for people that want to make a food forest and how to get started. It's not too bad to get started, especially if you know people with fruit trees. Or maybe you got stuff around your house that you can start a food forest. And so not all the food forest is like fruit trees or garden plants. Sometimes they're flowering trees. Right up here, this is my China berry, and it draws tons of bees in. And so I'm growing some of them. And here's a little mulberry. I've grown them, and I'm trying to make more. Then I got willows. I got so many willows now, and I use them for a windbreak. But they give you dapple shade. If you got a real hot area, if you can grow willows, it's pretty nice. I really like them because they don't give you a full shade. Me and Peanut, we went out today and got some plum cuttings, didn't we, Peanut? On my cuttings, it's harder to take because of this dry air. Sometimes I have luck and sometimes I don't, but I'll just keep trying until I can multiply plants. Isn't that right, Peanut? We work hard at it, don't we? We do. So I'll show you some more. So here is a bag, and it's got a big pomegranate in it, and I'm raising several pomegranates. They'd be great in a food forest. And this is some different plants I'm growing. Texas sage. I don't know if they're going to make it, but they might. So I have an olive tree by the driveway, and it bears flowers and little tiny olives. It's a Russian olive, but the bees love it. And if I can get some extra, I'll put them out in the food forest, because you always want something to draw the bees in. So over here, I took some mulberry cuttings. Don't know if they'll do anything, but who knows. And here's some grapevines. If you know anybody that you can get cuttings off of, ask them. Sometimes they don't care. So here's some cuttings I got from my apricot. And let's see, peach, pear, right there. And this is an old type of pear. And another pear, and apricot. Now that's funny, the same thing's coming up right there as if it was over here. This pear is a old type of pear. Don't know what kind it is, but it come out and bloomed and flowered and all that. Got me a few pears. Took 7 years to do it. So these pears, if they make it, they'll think they're 7-8 years old, so they won't have no problem making pears. But they were up in the foothills in the old orchard. It's abandoned, so we went there one time and grabbed some, dug up some old root plants. I didn't think it ever would do anything because it was the roots of the pear, but it did. It took 7 years to do it. So this year I'm hoping they really make even better and feed the squirrels. The squirrels like that stuff too. So down here I got grape. And I don't know what's coming up in this, but they all look like the same plant, so I'm really curious what that is. I reuse my soil so much that it must have got some seed in it. So planting blackberries would be a good thing. Getting cuttings from somebody that's trimming up their blackberries, if you could find somebody. So me and Peanut decide, let's try grow more fruit trees in the garden and other type of trees in the food forest. Look around and see what kind of trees you have. See if you can get cuttings off of them to make more and more. You might know friends that don't mind you taking cuttings. And even if you buy an apple tree, peach or something, maybe you can get a couple cuttings off your brand new tree to start making more. You never know. So here's my baby pomegranates, some of them. And some things we'll take and then some won't. And then there's my baby black raspberry, red raspberry. That'd be great in the food forest. When they grow up, I can take multi-cuttings from them. So here's some of my baby pomegranates. And they're looking good. But, you know, you never know what will take and what will just die off. So just keep on trying. And keep planting year after year. Keep working at it. Like this planting here in New Mexico is so dry. So it is a struggle for plants. But in your area, it might be nice and moist, and that will help your plant. Now this is a young China berry, and that will go out in the food forest, and it will smell so good, and the bees will just love it. And I'm thinking about trying to put that somewhere close to my swing back there, so I could sit back there and smell this tree. This tree is my Russian olive, and when we first moved here, I think it was May, that was bloomed out, and it smelled so good. I just love the smell of that tree. In the winter, it's not very pretty, but the bees come to it, and it smells so good. Somebody else loves the food forest. Yeah. Annie. Hey, Annie. And food forest can have vines. Somebody don't like vines, but then some people do. And I love this honeysuckle vine. It doesn't go wild like you would where you get a lot of rain, so it's kind of stable. You know, some of these vines can get crazy. This is a desert vine. I don't have to hardly water. It looks pretty shabby right now, but when it comes out, it's really pretty, and honeybees do come to it. And I'm trying to get it to grow over this little trellis Bill made me. Got a swing underneath there, and it's slowly but surely getting covered, and I like that. So right in here is an apricot tree that come up in the bag of leaves, and I raised it from a little tiny baby, and the food forest grew it and showed it to me when it got about 2 foot. I went, well, there's a apricot tree. So I moved it right here in this corner, and then back behind it is this big tree. I don't know what it is. It come up because of the bag of leaves, dropped some seed in there, and I left it because it's a nice shade tree, and it comes over here and shades this area, and it's a good windbreaker. But the trees in the food forest is really nice to have. And this here come up by itself. It's a bird paradise. It flowers, and the bees love it. So it's really handy to have. There's Annie. She's peeking. She loves the food forest because I give her food from the food forest. And when she hears me out here, she'll holler. Now these are some cherry trees, and I've got 2 of them in this area, and I'm going to get some clippings off that and see what I can do. And here's some willows to stop the wind. So if I can get more fruit plants, I'm going to put them through here. This would be called a hedgerow, and what it is, it's usually when birds land on your fence and poop out seeds, and then they grow fruit on a hedgerow. Well, I'm going to put my own fruit through there, and there's Gus. And try to get all this side, because it's windy, as a hedgerow of different fruit trees. But for now, I'm just growing willows to break the wind. This is my second cherry tree, and it bloomed out last year, but I didn't get no fruit off of it, so I hope maybe it will this year. This is a rose bush, and I got them scattered throughout the food forest because I like beauty in the food forest. And I got baby hollyhocks around. I got lots of them, and the hummingbirds come in, bumblebees, and others like it. So it's pretty good to have hollyhocks in your food forest. No, here is somebody give it to me, and it's a holly bush, and I like it too. And then I got desert willow in this corner here, and I'm running some of the limbs on the fence so they just grow on the fence instead of growing straight up. It brings in bees too. If I can, I want to get cuttings from the desert willow and try to grow more of them. They smell so good. And then here's another rose bush and a whole bunch of goji bushes. And I do try to use the goji bushes for a windbreak. This is a little apple tree I bought last year, and I want to try to get more apples. So if you buy peach or apple or plum, look down at the bottoms and think, maybe later on I could grow this and get some cuttings off this. Maybe you don't want the apple limb right there, but I'm waiting for them to get a little bigger. Then I'll use these as cutting and see if I can't get more apples. I just got through making me some cherry cuttings, and wouldn't that be great if they took? You know, a food forest becomes a magical land when it's established and while it's growing. You go into a food forest and it smells so good, and you can just eat off the plants, and that is including vegetables also. You'll have all kind of vegetables growing in there. Food forest can get crazy wild, and I like it. But to sit out there in my swing and I can see the birds and bees out there in the food forest, it's a lot different than a garden that you till. A lot of people like till garden, and Bill, he's one of them. But I love the food forest better. I love walking out there. It's like a good feel to your soul, a food forest. And it's just like once a food forest gets going, it'll grow things on its own. The birds will fly in there, reseed it to different stuff. It just goes crazy wild. And that's, to me, is how it should be growing. But I mean, there is so many different ways of growing plants, but if anybody wants to grow a food forest, go ahead and get started and try it. But I appreciate y'all coming by, and almost like in here, I got a food forest in my sunroom. I do. But anyway, thanks for coming by and watching. Now I gotta find a spot for my cherry cuttings. Talk to you later. Bye.